Happy Transformation Tuesday, everybody. Today I wanted to talk about a very important concept because it happens to be election day here in the United States. So I want to talk about the idea of unity versus division. Because on a day like this, when there is so much polarization in our country, it is very easy to just fall back into the habitual idea that we are divided as a country, that we're highly polarized, and all of that media jargon that we constantly hear. The truth is, it is up to us, the people who make up this country, to decide to be in unity. And the way to achieve unity as a whole is to first achieve inner unity. The first place you need to achieve unity is between your body and your mind. If you can do that, then unity between you and the world and you and each other comes naturally next. So I want to show you guys a technique that I learned last week in my life coach training about how to shift your awareness from your mind into your body. And when you do that, it has a unifying effect on your whole field of being. This technique, I think, was first conjured up by Eckhart Tolle in one of his books, and I learned it from my life coach teacher, Martha Beck, who is amazing, and you should check out any of both of their books. They're awesome. But to achieve a mind-body connection creates a more balanced individual, and a more balanced individual creates a more balanced world. It doesn't happen from the top down. No matter whether the Democrat or the Republican gets elected, that isn't going to magically change, shift, or fix one darn thing. The only thing that is going to change, shift, and fix anything is if we, each individual, decides to take it upon ourselves to make those shifts, to become more unified within ourselves. Because as you become more unified within yourself, you realize division wasn't working for me. And when you realize that, it becomes natural to not want to be divided from other people over false things that we don't actually care about that much, like people's sexuality or people's race or their gender. Those things are very internal and they're very individual. And the idea that we can whip ourselves up into a frenzy over something that really has no effect on us is absolute absurd mind trash that has been programmed into us by a society of consumer culture, by a mainstream media that continues to echo and beat the drum of division, 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 as if somehow voting and getting involved here in this giant political pageant is going to save the day. I'm not saying don't vote. You have to follow your resonance and do what's right for you. But what I am saying is that to look inward and to become intimately acquainted with where you are divided within yourself and to take active steps to unify your mind and body will make all the difference in the world. Recent science has communicated to us and discovered that there is brain cells in our heart, that within our heart there is a literal tiny brain, and that our entire gut is lined with neurons as well. So our body is constantly doing all kinds of thinking and reasoning just like the brain does. The only difference is that the heart and the gut don't have the ability to decode that reasoning and thinking into language, which is a good thing because words are symbolic by their very nature, and so they are always not true. What I mean is, language has a meaning because we've agreed to what it means. We agree that the sound of the letter A makes an ah. We agree that the word apple and the sounds apple means this little red delicious piece of fruit. So words by their very nature are symbolic, which means they inherently are not the truth. They can just do their best job at pointing to the truth. So when we are able to unify our body and our mind, what we're able to do then is transcend the limits of our language and start to tune into the signals in our body that are also coming to us in a near constant way. And the signals that come from our body don't know English, so they are accurate and true for us every time. So as you start to decide things, make decisions, or think about what your next moves are in life, or with this election, or with anything else, with people that you want to alienate because they voted one way or another, or injustices that you want to rail against, take those decisions into your heart and into your gut, and ask the questions by literally focusing your awareness on this part of your body and this part of your body. That's literally what I mean. I'm not saying metaphorically follow your heart. I'm saying literally drop down out of the brain into the heart and the gut areas that also think and also reason, but can basically communicate to you in a broad sense of, yes, or a broad sense of no. And those signals, those yes and no signals, are always the truth. What I mean by the truth is they are always the right call for you, because everyone's truth is relative and everyone's truth is individual. But when you listen with your mind, you can get fooled by your brain because it will think in sentences and words, and those are symbolic by their very nature. Words lie. Your body cannot lie. So here's the protocol. You can close your eyes, and if you want to do this with me now, I will take time and we'll do it together. Put your hands up so that they're not touching anything else. Close your eyes, and then ask yourself, we start with one hand actually, so you ask yourself, how do I know that my hand really exists if I can't see it? And what you'll find is if you pay close attention, not with words and not with thinking, but with bodily awareness, you will find that a sensation starts to occur in your hand. A sensation as if almost in answer to the question, how do I know my hand exists? The sensation pulses through your hand and says, this is how. Not in words, but just in that sense. For me, it gets a little bit warm and just ever so slightly tingly, but it's enough for me to know that the hand is there and the hand exists. And it's a feeling of awareness in my hand that I wasn't conscious of prior. But when you close your mind, when you close your eyes and you ask that question, it accentuates and highlights the very fact of bodily awareness. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So now keep your eyes closed and put up your second hand and say, now, how do I know this hand exists? And if you sit with it, and if you breathe, and don't try to think about the outcome, but just let your awareness shift away from your mind and into your body, you will start to notice that both hands have that pulsing sensation. Both hands end up giving you some signal that they are there and they are real. That's bodily awareness. As you do this, you are unifying your body and your mind. In fact, you're dropping the power away from your mind and into your body. That's just a small exercise to give you a little sense of how powerful the body is and what the idea here is of cultivating bodily awareness. If you can do this and you can really sense the awareness in your hands and in your body, then you can take the next step and put that awareness into your heart, put that awareness into your gut. This is what chi energy is all about. When people heal using energy healing, they are essentially channeling the awareness of what is from the mere symbolic realm of words and mental stuff to the true nature, the true realm of body and energy. And then they are channeling that into a healing. This is what Reiki is all about. This is what Chi energy is all about. I was just listening to an interview with Greg Braden, and he talks about this hospital in China. It's called a medicineless hospital, where the doctors have been trained in a technique of expectation, where they use their expectation and pull from the many probabilities of reality, the probability of healing. So there was a woman, a documented woman, who had cancer in her bladder, and the doctors employed their techniques over her, and they embraced fully the diagnosis of cancer. So there wasn't resistance. There was an understanding that, yes, she currently has cancer. And then they built up in their bodies the expectation that that cancer could be healed and that there could be another choice they make other than the cancer just progressing towards death, which is what we're conditioned to think. If you just do nothing, cancer will get worse and worse and worse and lead to death. And these doctors have been trained in a medicineless healing technique, and within under 3 minutes, on an ultrasound, it was documented with video documentation, this woman's cancerous tumor dissolved in under 3 minutes time because of the expectation that the doctors had and because of the energy flowing within their bodies. So there's a limitless potential in unifying your body and mind. That's just one very extreme example because we're conditioned against that type of healing and that type of knowing in our culture. So I wanted to bring this up and say all this today because today is probably going to go down as one of the most divided and divisive days in history. But it doesn't have to be that way. No matter what the media is saying, no matter what happens in the election, you, each one of us, you and me, get to decide individually if we will be divided, if we will allow ourselves to be separated and divided, one, from our true nature, and two, from the people that we love and care about who may think differently than us or who may have voted differently than us, okay? There are bigger fish to fry than who becomes president, and the biggest fish of all is your own internal wholeness and well-being. So take that to heart. Enjoy Transformation Tuesday. I trust you, humanity. I love you, humanity. Talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, I forgot my remote control in my hand this time. Anyway, bye.